Hey, what's up guys, I'm Ben, and today I'm going to tell you how I made this awesome machine even better. So from the very first time that I laid eyes on this bike, I absolutely love it. From the very first time I got to ride the thing, it got even better. It has just been an awesome bike to own. I have had this out on the highway, I've had this out on some pretty gnarly things that I don't know if you could even call trails. However, it's just never really been all that comfortable for me. And keep in mind, I'm not talking about an hour ride to the coffee shop and then an hour ride back after sitting and chatting for an hour. I'm talking about getting on this seat, riding it for 6 hours, only getting off to drink water and to pee. Now, granted, some of that time is standing up off-road, of course, but around the 5 or 6 hour mark, this thing really started to give me some pain in my wrists and started to be, well, kind of a pain in the butt. Now, I do plan on doing kind of a separate video about this seat, but I replaced the stock seat with the low version of the Seat Concepts Comfort line. And I have to say, I do really like this seat. I love the grippy material on here. It kind of likes to hold on to the dirt a bit. It's definitely made of kind of a harder compound. It is much wider at the back, and it doesn't kind of slope down at the sides like the stock seat does. It is much more comfortable. I do have to say, I probably would not have sprung for this $300 seat if I didn't think that it was gonna get me a little bit closer to the ground. Now, I said this was the low model. It's only 3/4 of an inch lower, but I figured any little bit should help. I'm 5'10", about 160 pounds, and I've got a 31-inch inseam height. And with the preload cranked up on the back of the bike to get the correct sag, this bike is kind of a beast. And honestly, even with this low seat on here, I don't really feel like I'm all that much closer to the ground. I still have to kind of do the lean of faith, transfer over to this side to put the kickstand up, switch back over to here. It's doable. I definitely have to kind of shift myself off to the side, and that's where having this lower seat definitely kind of helps. But the thing is, the seat is just so wide that I still cannot get more than my tiptoes on the ground. Sliding off to the side is kind of the way to go, and that definitely makes me feel a lot more confident on this bike. So honestly, I would say if you're only gonna pick a seat like this up just to try to get a little bit closer to the ground, it's gonna help you a little bit, but it's still probably not gonna get you all that much closer to the ground just because of how wide the bike is. Now the next thing I did yielded the exact results that I was hoping for, and it's probably the biggest comfort improvement that I have made to this bike. And that's the addition of these Tusk Chubb YZ high bend handlebars. These things are so much more comfortable than the almost broomstick straight stock handlebars. And honestly, these are not swept back all that much more than the stock bars, but just that little bit of extra sweep really does make the difference, at least for somebody my size. I don't have to crank my wrist to the side in order to grab the bar. I'm in a much more neutral position, and this makes my wrist a lot happier. And the rise on these is honestly just about what the stock bars were, so this isn't gonna get you any higher. But if that's something you need, Tusk also has you covered with the ATV high bend that I've got on the Killer 650 here. So these have got quite a bit of rise on them compared to the YZ high bend. And these are definitely gonna be a little bit of a stretch for your cables. I think these will still be okay. But that is just sort of an estimate on my part. I did have some 1.5-inch risers on the stock bars, and all the cables and everything worked out just fine for that. So I guess if you guys have any more information on that, let me know down below. But I think you would be okay with an ATV high bend on here. But like I said, these are an absolute game changer. They are super inexpensive. I'll put a link down in the description for the video where I swapped them over. It's really not as much work as you think it would be, and it is worth every little bit of effort. I absolutely love these things. And to kind of soften up the interface between me and the bars, I've got the Pro Grip 717 grips on here. These are so much nicer to hold on to. They are so much grippier than the stock kind of plastic grips. They just are worth every penny. I definitely highly recommend getting something like this. Just make sure you get something that is 125 millimeters long. And the fact that these are open-ended, it was really nice too. And I'll have links for all this stuff down in the description if you want to use those links. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but it helps me make more videos like this. And actually underneath these grips, what has kind of helped me out on the colder days is the Tusk grip heaters. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, these are a bit of a pain in the butt to wire up. They are not necessarily plug and play. However, I do have some information in a video that I can again link down in the description that will let you plug these into the stock wiring harness on the bike. it's still a lot of work to get the wires ran and everything. There's probably a much more expensive option out there that would go a lot smoother, but I have to say I've been nothing but happy with the touch grip heaters on here. For 20 bucks, it's kind of hard to go wrong. The D-Flex Adventure Pro handguards definitely make me feel a lot more comfortable, both on the kind of chilly days because of all the wind protection that they provide for your hands, but being a wraparound guard like this and being a really stiff set, honestly, definitely makes me feel a lot better for my hands on the kind of more jungly trails, and also makes me feel a lot better about the bike going down because I know my levers are protected and aren't going to snap off. Now this is probably a bit of a stretch for a comfort video, but I think the comfort I feel off-road with the Motas tires on here is definitely worth mentioning. To be honest, I never actually even tried out the stock Pirellis on here. I had a tire that was extremely similar to that. Back when I had my Gen 2 KLR 650, that was the Shinko Big Blocks, the 804, 805s. Those were an okay tire. However, I have to say I don't really think that I would recommend those anymore. Since then, I have ridden enough tires like the Motas Tractionator Adventures here that I've realized that side-to-side traction is just as important as forward traction. Now these have got about 4,400 miles on them, and the front is starting to cup pretty bad. I'm told that this can have something to do with the fact that I sort of only use my front brake. I've since tried to switch and use the back brake, but I think we're a little bit too far gone. I think these are definitely my favorite tires so far though. The front hangs on like crazy. The back has more than enough traction to keep up with the 70-some horsepower that the Tenere 700 puts out, and it couples very nicely with the anti-squat rear. This is kind of a wheelie monster with these things on here, and is definitely a lot of fun off-road. On the highway though, I do have to admit, these are really kind of uncomfortable, I guess, after like 70 miles an hour. Anytime that you're going to pass another car, and I mean this could have something to do with the fact that this is more of a dirt bike than it is a street bike, but when you're going to pass somebody or you go to kind of do a shift and give the bars a little bit of input, the front does kind of tend to wander a bit. I've never ended up in a death wobble, just not doing nothing, going down the road straight. I have gotten a little bit of a wobble that kind of corrects itself fairly quickly when, like I said, shifting or switching lanes. So kind of be aware of that, but I'm still definitely happy with these tires, and I would not have switched them out for anything else, having known what I know now. Now, if you guys that watch the channel on a regular basis, you may remember that I stuck the Pugue touring windscreen on this for a while. Honestly, I just did not like the look of it, but it also just really didn't seem like it gave me all that much better of an air pocket to sit in. I felt like I was still getting just as much, if not more, buffeting in the position that I was sitting in. Again, kind of keep my height in mind when you're sort of fitting up these parts for your bike and your size. But honestly, I just feel a lot better with the stock screen. I feel like I can kind of get up above the more buffeted air, and I just like this a lot better. And honestly, I think a big reason that I like this over the other screen is just that you don't have to look through this, you can look over it, so you don't kind of get that weird distortion factor. And you also don't have to worry about cleaning it as much. So if I had to pick one of these mods to start with, I would definitely say the handlebars, at least for somebody my size. But everything that I've done to this bike, honestly, I am very pleased with. I think that everything that I've done has been worth the money. The seat, that still stings a little bit, but honestly, really everything that I've done has made a noticeable improvement, and it's stuff that definitely makes me smile a bit and feel a lot better when I'm out on the road and on the trail on this bike. If you want to see videos of me doing just that, then make sure you hit the subscribe button, click the bell after subscribe. That'll let you know anytime I put a video out, which is at least once a week, if not a couple times a week. I've been shooting for a bit more. If you guys want to help me make more videos like this, make sure you check out those links down in the description. If you guys are interested in seeing these videos before they come out on YouTube, then make sure you check out my Patreon. You can join for as little as $1 a month. You can cancel at any time, and I definitely appreciate the support as I am trying to grow this channel into something a little bit more than what it is today. So thanks for watching, guys. Take care, stay safe, stay swanky, get out, enjoy this beautiful world any chance you get, and if you can't do that right now, here's some more videos to check out in the meantime.